You're right. For myself, I love training with other guys. Lord, people I was just in Vegas. I trained with Aljo. I was like, don't let him get your back. Don't let him get your back. And I was like, honestly, a lot of the stuff that I do is stronger than I am. And I'm not doing nothing. When you just try and you'll figure it out. It's cool because, like you said, when you're training with a purpose, and you're like, let me just try my single leg just right. Or let me just try that. Yeah, makes you that much
Yeah.
better at showing those metrics tools that you have.
All right.
Yep.
We're back.
What's your best like Habib's in moment where you just saw him do something training? You're like, dude, this is why this matters. What was it?
Bro, when he was literally mounting me and he was like making a coffee order and he's like on top of me. It's like, is he really doing this right now? I'm trying to slow it out. And he just like, he just looks into certain one way and I'm just like, bro, like, this is, I don't know. So it's just like, down myself, but man, when he's on top and he's like having a conversation with somebody, it's just so fun. Uh, it's so good. Myself, it's like, I know that you can work a little harder the next time. That's how I have to look. I don't look at it like, man, it sucks. I want to go to you again. I don't feel embarrassed now. It's like, I mean, I'll be here tomorrow, same time. Just I want to just keep growing, keep sharpening, and keep getting better. I know there's nobody that's helping me out like he already out. I know there's nobody that's beat me up like he's gonna beat me up. So it just makes me that much more fearless in the fight.
I love that. Well, I wish you nothing but the best of luck in your matchup against Jack Della at UFC 315. And this is the opportunity for you to let the fans know how they can support you, where they can follow you. And the floor is yours, brother.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for having me on again. Definitely fantastic. I believe you 170, Twitter, believe 170. Nice. I knew it was business.
You asked someone to be nice, and your fucking name's the bully. How does that? You're not starting off very good. And I wish you nothing but the best. You get past Jack, and then hopefully we get this, this amazing match between you versus Kamar Usman. I think the whole world wants to see it. I want to see it now.
Hey,
Honestly, we want to see straight shop cop. No, I think UFC's not sport; it's a fucking business. I'm a podcaster now. I'm not a fighter. Okay, but not seriously though, do you think pound for pound isn't posting that for like legal reasons? Like, how is this not? Everyone wants to see it, so you do great numbers. What's the reason for it?
I think they probably rewatched the back and saw like how bad Bob was seeing up. I think now we can't do that better. It's sort of like adjustments we can make with the lighting where so it's like I don't even know.
Listening to DJ won't get this reference, but it's like CM Punk. When the backstage footage, the infamous footage. We need to get this footage. We need to get this footage and see if how you're describing it is how it went down. Come on, pound for pound, drop the footage, release the footage. Look at that goddamn footage. Look at that goddamn footage. I want to see it. I want to see it. Yeah. We're good. I think we might be working together actually in Vegas at International Fight Week. So I have to ask him about that. He was like, Demetrius, I just think the law and what they're going to figure out. So it's hopefully got another love for Kamara and Henry Cejudo. So boys, if you enjoyed this episode of the Rankcast, please hit a like, subscribe. Also, hit the bell to the live and make sure you guys follow my man, Bilal Bahana, beat down on Instagram social media as he gets ready to take on Jack Della at UFC 315. That is our guest. My right hand man, Michael Wanzo. We'll see you guys in the next episode of the Mighty Cats. Oh, boys, we are back again. Welcome.
Guys. Hope everybody's doing great. Okay, make an iron hoe. An iron hoe. Put some fucking dirt. Look at that yurt. Look at that yurt.
Back to the mighty recap, and this is probably the episode where me and my man Michael we recap everything we just went through with our guest, and our guest was Bilal Muhammad the bully. You know what? He's a nice guy. You know, he's so like UFC the fans talking about him like it's not got to make and you sit down. He's all not his peers, but the other things that makes him shit on him. And I think he's genuinely a nice guy. You know, and maybe he does it himself when he says everybody sucks. You know, him and his people come out loose. I hope one day they drop and podcast. I know why they don't. I love to hear from Mark Eastman on the Mighty Cast, seeing his side of the story of what happened in that interview. But I enjoyed Bilal Muhammad, and I'm excited for his fight at UFC 315. He takes on Jack Della because I think Jack Della does something different. He doesn't give up, where his previous opponents, when he gets in a certain position, they tend to accept the position, accept that Bilal Muhammad is going to, dominate the position. Where Jack Della doesn't accept that, and that's why I think makes him dangerous in his matchup against Bilal Muhammad. I agree too. Bilal is like one of my favorite fighters to have on the show, and just one of the nicest fighters. For every week, you just see all these weeks of him, how poor he is, and all this shit. But it's mixed martial arts, and if you are winning, it's you need to want to know the guys who bore me, the guys who can't defend a takedown, the guys who can't stop one. Like Leon Edwards, right? Like I want to see him add more to his game. I don't want to see Leon Edwards get just submit by Sean Brady, right? That's what it's not the wrestlers that do. If that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. So you want to see somebody who's well rounded, who's able to implement a game plan and execute, right? And like I said on the podcast, people were calling me boring. Calling me boring when I was finishing people. Like if you I've always told you I was one of those guys. I'm like, I kick your fucking ass, Michael. You know that? Like, think about that. Every time I go to B Dubs for a free pay per views, I call it WD's Chelsea. Like, and I would just leave after eating a bunch of fucking wings all night, and my stomach hurting, just being like, man, that was so fucking boring. Yeah, you're about this. They're like, oh, hey, the main event's going on. Oh, it's me, Johnson. Oh, you know, David's gonna fucking leave. I'm gonna go. You know, I'm gonna go already. But like when you look at that, right? Like people called me boring in mixed martial arts, right? Let's take a look at my title reign. Let's say the fucking shirt on, say whatever. Continue the shirt on. Not okay. Let's get so many ads these days. Yeah. So let's look at this. So I become a champion in 2012, right? I fight John Dodson, goes to decision. I fight John Moraga, I finish him with an armbar. I fight Anthony Venus, I knock him out. Other body team up, I don't finish him. Chris Ferriasu, other body team up is on EPO, so that's why I didn't finish him. Chris Ferriasu, I finish him. Chujiro Gucci, I finish him. John Dodson, didn't finish him. Hiroshito, I finish him. Tim Light, don't finish. Wilson Hayes, I finished him. Ray Borg, I finished him. So out of my title reign, I had how many finishes in the title reign? One, two, no, excuse me, yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of my single title finishes, 7 of them were fucking finishes. Think about that, and they called me boring. I mean, you know, it's just weird in today's society where people are just like, oh, he's bored, he keeps on waiting. Oh, he's bored, he's bored, he's bored. And also, you remind people too, did you see Tom Brady against Leon Edwards? How good did he look? He looked alone knocked out Tom Brady. Yeah, I know. So Tom Brady out grappled, made it look easy against Leon Edwards. And Leon Edwards at one point in time, when was Leon Edwards the top best fighter in the world? I feel like he was the top best fighter in the world. No, Leon Edwards definitely wasn't confident on every one. But he was on the top list. Though, he looked. I mean, I used to think his grappling was pretty good. He obviously far off his striking, but I think you're right though about what you said. It took something from Leon, like in that performance. Something was whether it was confidence or something was ripped from him because Leon fought Kamaru Usman 3 times and defended takedowns extremely well. So I'm not sure what happened, but also just shows how good and underrated that performance was. Well, I also feel that when it comes to Kamaru Usman versus Sean Brady's, Sean Brady's grappling and wrestling compared to Kamaru Usman is a lot different because Sean Brady wrestles to grapple, so Kamaru Usman is this wrestler. He's not running a single leg and moving to pass guard and angle the hips and you know what I mean? Like, single Kamaru Usman takes people down. Well, he doesn't take anybody down anymore. He tends to stand with them. But when he did take it down, it wasn't grappling focus. It was more ground and pound focus. And that's why I think, you know, Sean Brady had a better time finishing Leon Edwards than Kamaru Usman did. So, but I want to see. I'm going to go right now. I want to see Kamaru Usman go to Lava. That's what I want to see. This fight reminds me of Betts Guerrero versus Ronda Rousey. Reason why is because Ronda Rousey was beating everybody. And then Betts Guerrero was like, she fucking sucks. And then Ronda Rousey was like, oh, you just bitch ass. I'm like, right? She got that. So good. Even though I knew Ronda Rousey was a million times better than Betts Guerrero, I was like, since they said, oh, he just bitch his ass, I'm ready for you. Kamaru Usman has lost 3 straight fights. Granted, one of them, his last fight was he couldn't have a tougher fight against Hamza Chimaev in short notice, and he fought him extremely well. So that is his last fight. But then the majority decision versus Leon Edwards, I don't want to say majority decision, I mean it's unanimous, versus Leon Edwards, and then the TKO or the KO loss, obviously the kick heard around the world. Leon Edwards. So it's tough when you're talking about a guy who is not. His last win was November 2021. The one that I'm sure everyone in our listeners / viewers will want to see is Shavkat, which is a fight that's supposed to happen, but he had some injury that was not that they could probably be ranked in 2015. So that will be. I always like when we can tell a bigger story. We're going to get Shavkat versus Bilal, but now it will almost feel like a bigger fight when it does happen because if Bilal is able to beat Jack Della, which is not an easy fight at all, it would make that Shavkat fight bigger. So at least that's a fight I want to see. All respect in the world to Kamaru. Bilal said a lot of stuff about Kamaru
He's a guy who's up there pound for pound. Tremendous fighter, taking nothing away from him. But as a fan, it would be hard for me to see Dana White in one of his Instagram lives. We here's Kamara Usman. Like it's hard to sell that fight to me beyond the footage.
I know 15 seconds later, like, see, this is shit I'm talking about. This is shit I'm talking about. Damn, make room. These fucking helmets and fucking sausages can't get anything right.
Yeah.
You know,
But no, I think though with Bilal Muhammad, I think people you were dead right with what you said. I feel like when he's fighting people with with a lot more. It's easy now to make fun of him and talk about the pay-per-views not drawing. How about this when you pull up UFC 315? They're not really giving him help. When you look at the cards, they're not giving you EJ, you know better than anyone. You know how many advantage being the main event and then having a co-main event that maybe is a little bit deeper. With all respect to Valentina Shevchenko, if you look at the card, it's not, they're not really giving him some huge help in the pay-per-view buy. So is that a Bilal Muhammad thing or is that a UFC thing? So I think he gets some.
well, that's the thing I love about, like, when you talk about, oh, you know, that athlete didn't want pay-per-view points. He didn't believe in his ability to sell pay-per-views. That's the word that they were using about me. And it's funny, you know, I believe in myself. I believe in the technique. I believe in my skill set. I believe the product I put out there is probably one of the best in the time when I was fighting. But when you're going to be, you know, you just say that they're not helping him. It's not like a fucking mega star party where everybody and the moms, you know, jumping down to watch it because yeah, that fight between Jack Della versus Bilal Muhammad. Yeah, I'm excited about that fight. I want to watch it. Right? Valentina Shevchenko, I'm not too familiar with the female she's fighting. I think Shevchenko's on a different level. I mean, also the card haven't really looked at it. You know, I'm looking forward to like what's going to happen in international fighting. I'm ready for them starting out to that card. But no, I agree with you. I think they should, you know, you want it for a champion, you want to be stacked up with other bigger champions so you can start a lot of the in my opinion, and I get on both sides of the fence when I headlined the movie by myself. Amazing performance, you know, on my end. And I got on the side where it was me and John Jones. John Jones fought OSP, and I fought Henry Cejudo, and I think we barely paid over 265,000. That was back in 2016. So I think now that the UFC is lobbying at the time of filming this, where the next streaming platform going to be, I'm always going to be Netflix because Netflix is a better platform. It's easier to stream. It's easier to get to. There's no bullshit where it's like, oh, I got to log into Disney Plus or ESPN Plus. Oh, now I got to find a you. Obviously, there's that tricky, you know, thing. Does UFC do away with the pay-per-views and just go, we're going to, you know, Netflix going to pay us 1.5 billion a year, a 5-year deal, which would equal up to, you know, some god outrageous number. Everything's going to be free, and we're going to run it, which I think will be a better idea because Netflix is all about bringing more subscribers. The monthly subscribers should pay that percentage. And Netflix now has, you know, the higher tier, which is the paid you know, ads, pay $45. Or if you want ads on Netflix, you pay $6.99, which Netflix loves that because they get to make ad money. So I hope it goes to Netflix. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Digital Titan Productions out of Chicago. They're the ones who filmed that for us. It's the reason why it looks so crisp in 4K. It was like you were right there in Chicago, just in his basement.
Yes.
Thanks to them. Shout out to Digital Titan Productions. Shout out to Chicago. Always good to have a fellow Chicago in there. And no, I mean I hate to say it when we're trying to be on by, but I think we both can be supporting UC 315. Maybe we'll have Jack Dell on eventually. Hopefully he doesn't get mad at us.
That's okay, B-Des. That's okay. I'll tell him straight up, like I told you. You're just going to kick your ass on the feet. It was come on. And that's the thing I love about doing is that I love to be so honest and transparent when, you know, when Uriah Faber grappled Viviano. I thought Viviano was going to outwork Uriah Faber. I thought he was going to destroy him. Next, you know, I saw Uriah Faber at CGI 1, Day I won. And I was like, I'm shocked you beat Viviano. He goes, really? I was like, yeah. Piano's a fucking 5-time Brazilian jiu-jitsu champion. And he goes, yeah, man, I have actually pretty good jiu-jitsu. And then he was doing the reason rule sets into his favor. Like it's Piano and you're right there with the grapple and gi. You know, Piano's like, you know, was it gi, was no gi, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I hate when fighters, you know, I can't say I hate, I just, it makes me not want to cover this sport and talk about fighters, but pick the sides of fighters because a lot of them get a little upset. People love to have a conversation with every fighter that I've ever picked against or picked to win and just give my honest opinion. And, you know, like I said, when I do my next champion, I want you guys all bet on my out. I'm not gonna, you know, bat an eye.
I think I can understand when it's active fighters, and I think that's the thing that almost check those. But anyone getting offended at a retired Demetrius Johnson YouTuber, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Not me getting it, but we've seen it. It's like, dude, I'm not saying you hope they're gonna lose. Using your educated guess and your knowledge of your end-based thing to make it for this. And I personally don't get it, but if you are an active fighter, I can sell it. It's okay. Well, boys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Money Cast. I always enjoy it, and like Franco said, we always enjoy talking about Bilal because he is a great guy. He's very colorful. He knows his shit. He's well spoken. So, like, subscribe. Also, the doors are live. And please leave a comment down in the section below. Let us know. Do we want to see Kamar Usman versus, you know, Bilal Muhammad if he gets past Jack Della, or do we want to see Shahkat versus, you know, Bilal Muhammad? And are we going to see Islam go up to 170 if, you know, Jack Della wins? Or is Islam going to 155 and they're going to match up with Oli Aquara? Who knows? Let us know in the comment section. Get involved, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube. Look in the comment section. I'm Johnson. My right hand man. Once the one's over, we will see you guys at the next episode of the Mighty Cast. Again, UFC 315. Jack Dillon takes on. Don't forget the name Bilal Muhammad. Then you have Vasilij Shevchenko taking on Manon. And then you have a banger at the featherweight division. Jose Aldo taking on Zahabi. One of these fights. Boom! Welcome back to the show. We got final predictions for UFC 315. Bilal Muhammad making his first title defense against a very young, talented Jack Della. So, guys, let's start with the banger at 135. The King of Rio, Jose Aldo, making his return. It's kind of crazy. When you look at Jose Aldo, he's been fighting for a very, very long time. He was the reigning king at WEC at 145, and then also the reigning king at 145 in the UFC. And he said when he fought at 145, he truly never cut weight. Now he's cutting at 135, and he's making a run at the title. Even though he's retired, he's back again fighting. It's kind of crazy to see how long he's been in the game. And then his opponent, Zahabi, he's no spring chicken either. He's on a 5-fight win streak. Also, at the age of 37, he's trying to look to make his name off of being one of the legends in the sport in Jose Aldo. Yeah, that he's shown. You look at Jose Aldo, he's been doing it for a very long time. And one of the things that got him to the world stage is that beautiful weight kick. I never forget at WC 48 when he fought Uriah Faber, he kicked that man so damn hard that man could not walk anything. He needed punches. Jose Aldo needs to get back to that vicious leg kick he kind of got away from. You look at his previous fights, he doesn't really rely on that leg kick like he did in the beginning of his career. So I like to see Jose Aldo get back to the leg kick. Key to victory number 2, put the combinations together. You know, upstairs, downstairs, downstairs, upstairs. Start the leg kick, right hand, left hand, right hand. I don't have the views to do so. I think I did.
I don't know. I hope they did well. I think they're insane. About the same night as us. That makes sense.
Would you know
I
you
watched
say
it. I watched it ringside.
did you pay for it? Alright, so Dana White is practically begging fans to illegally stream events these days, being how pay-per-view prices have gone up, ticket prices for live events have gone up, and the quality of cards has been on the decline for years now, and frankly, I'm happy to oblige him. Also, if you've been paying attention, then you might know that UFC 315, which is going down tomorrow, still has not sold out, and for UFC standards, this event has already been a massive financial disappointment. Still has not sold out, and for UFC standards, this event has already been a massive financial disappointment, and it hasn't even begun yet. As much as I love this sport and want to support it, Dana's greed seems intent on watering down the overall UFC product, and honestly, I think it's impossible to justify the cost of being a hardcore fan these days. No, I don't take pride in or even like the fact that I'm facing pay-per-views, but at the same time, I don't really feel all that bad about it because the UFC's been increasingly fleecing fans for a while now. Pay-per-views are expensive, and they don't even make sense in this day and age. Look, you can call me broke all you want, you're not wrong, but if Dana himself is out here illegally streaming boxing events, then you better keep that same energy with him too. And yeah, in this video, I'll be talking about all this and more. Guys, UFC 315 is tomorrow, and the event still has hundreds of seats left to sell. And even though I do think Bilal Muhammad is a slightly more interesting champion than Leon Edwards, it doesn't really change the fact that this guy couldn't sell water to a man dying of thirst. But you know, maybe the UFC stacked the rest of the main card to make up for Bilal's lack of star power, right? Not really. At least not enough to get people to buy tickets, clearly. Of course, I like JDM a lot, and Aldo versus Sahabi is going to be a really good fight, but otherwise, I'm pretty indifferent on the other three matchups. Like, I really don't love the fact that they put two women's fights on the main card, but at least one of them's a title fight, I guess. My point here being, I really don't think the lineup of fighters on this card drives much interest unless you're a super hardcore fan of the UFC, and even then, I think that we can agree that these fights don't necessarily scream fireworks. I don't know, let's just say that I understand why this event still hasn't come close to selling out the arena, and it's obvious that the UFC is panicking over this because they've slashed ticket prices multiple times this week, and even up to yesterday, there were sections that still had over 100 unsold seats, but it seems like the latest round of price reductions has been helping move tickets. When you look at this fight card from top to bottom, it's honestly a bit absurd that the UFC expected an average fan to pay $450 for nosebleed tickets on a card that feels so pedestrian. And although it sucks for the fighters involved that they got stuck on this nothing burger of a card, I'm not gonna lie, it does make me a little bit happy that Dana's greed is biting him in the ass this time around. Make pay-per-view cards great again. I'm not saying that the UFC has to try to make every single pay-per-view the biggest event of the year because that's totally unreasonable, but I really don't think it's unreasonable to ask that they make their major cards be a little bit better than what we've been getting lately. And I definitely think it's more than reasonable to ask that the overall quality of UFC 315 be better than what we're getting this weekend. Because if they have Bilal Muhammad and Valentina Shevchenko as co-headliners, no offense, but they're not exactly swinging for the fences when it comes to marketability or excitement.
315 is 4 days away from now, and we still have some of the empty seats available because they oversaturated the market. They got away from what made the UFC different than boxing, where they would stack cards. So you like, oh my God, 5 fucking entertaining fights? I'm in. Boxing model was one man event, plus you've never heard of it. Right. So the numbers are great. UFC at least once a month, once every 3 months, you'd have these insane cards. Yeah. But they went, no, we're gonna do like boxing. That's going great.
Like, the idea of paying standard prices for a substandard product feels a little bit disrespectful from their UFC overlord. Which brings me to my next point, the undeniable shrinkflation of UFC events. For those of you unaware of the term, shrinkflation is basically when a company offers you less of a thing while you still pay the same amount for it. And that is exactly what's happening with UFC pay-per-views. Up until like the mid-2010s, we would get cards featuring title fights, title eliminators, and grudge matches all in one night on a pretty regular basis. And that's the big difference between UFC events then versus now. The overall quality of events nowadays is so much more lackluster than what they used to be. But back even just a couple of years ago, it felt like the UFC was more willing to invest money and manpower into elevating a shitty headlining fight by putting more interesting fighters and matchups on the undercard to support it. But in the current era of the promotion, you can feel the emphasis on cost cutting in almost every single aspect of what they do. Yes, the cards feel less stacked than they ever have, but pre-fight press conferences are like 20 minutes now with the lucky, every stage are lucky in years, and I don't even remember the last time items that they give price for, which they definitely should have done for UFC 300. I mean, the purpose of Dana White's Contender Series is to sign up-and-coming fighters for a discounted rate, and seeing as about a third of the UFC roster have come from it, then I'd say that it's doing a good job at accomplishing its goal. You know, at the risk of sounding like an entitled fan, it does feel a little bit insulting that they insist on giving us less of what we want, but then ask us to pay $12 a month for ESPN Plus so that we can then get the opportunity to pay $80 for each pay-per-view. And speaking of pay-per-view prices, do you guys remember in 2019 when the cost to purchase an event was $59.99? Then over the course of the next 6 years up to now, they've hiked up the price 4 times. And I understand that ESPN are the ones in control over the pay-per-view prices, and the UFC has even publicly stated that they disagree with the price increases, but that doesn't change the fact that making every pay-per-view $80 on top of the watered-down cards creates the worst value proposition for UFC fans in the history of the company.
For sure, by the way, they are down. This has been known for some time. The question is exactly how much they're down, but they're down pretty significantly. That's really not an issue. The question is kind of more interesting, which is ESPN pays UFC $20 million per pay-per-view, and then they get to, whatever they pull back from the pay-per-view, and they basically get to keep it. $20 million, that's pretty fucking significant, which means they have to sell higher than 300,000 pay-per-view buys, at least on average, in order for that to be returned. And that's really not been happening.
Look, I love MMA and I genuinely want to support it financially, but the UFC seems hell-bent on making it harder to want to spend money on their events. They want more money for less quality. They have become so transparent in trying to fleece our wallets by giving us less for more, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Now, you might not believe it, but I actually used to pay for a lot of the cards that I watched. I would fork out the money for the good pay-per-views in order to support the UFC and the fighters that I really cared about. I didn't mind it too much because for the most part, I did feel like it was a good enough return on investment. I am still willing to buy the cards that I know for sure will be certified bangers, but frankly, the last time that happened was for UFC 300. Not only that, I do pay for ESPN Plus so I can actually watch the free cards in high quality, even though ESPN Plus is utter dog shit and crashes 12 times every fight night. Now, I am saying all of this because I want you guys to know that I am personally willing to pay what I can in order to support a product that I have been watching for 17 years. But nowadays, with the quality of basically everything about the UFC being down and the cost of events being the highest it's ever been, I can only justify forking out all that money on a pay-per-view when I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt that it'll be worth the $80. Otherwise, I'm still going to watch the event. I'm just going to stream it instead. And if you don't like the fact that I watch illegal streams, then cry about it to Dana himself, because this guy definitely pirated the Canelo versus Plant boxing fight during a UFC pay-per-view event.
Did you know what you said with it?
Watch the next one.
Did you pay for it?
Now, of course, he doesn't admit to pirating the fight, but just look at his face, man. He clearly did. And all the reporters in the room start laughing because they can pick up on what he's not so subtly putting down. Also, if you know anything about Dana's beef with Showtime, then you'll know that his petty ass would never give them his money. He hates them for 2 months.
Watch some of these boxing events that are on. Showtime is horrible. Those guys suck so bad. You guys could show up with your video cameras and do a better job than show. Seriously, it's the worst production in all of television. And PBS has better programming than Showtime. It's horrible. Everybody that works on that show should be embarrassed.
Look, do I even need to say it? If Dana, whose net worth is estimated to be $500 million, is out here pirating streams, then my podcast is going to do it too, guiltlessly. And you might be saying that there's a difference between Dana stealing from Showtime and me stealing from the UFC, but I don't know. At the end of the day, we are two consumers who want to enjoy the product that a company produces, but for our own personal reasons, we're both taking a principled stance against giving them money. And if you think that my reasoning behind this is helping, I can as long as you can also admit that a man with $500 million not spending $80 on a fucking pay-per-view event. Meanwhile, he's giving $250,000 to a kid half his age and betting $15,000 a hand on blackjack is also done. At the end of the day, we are all entitled to do what we want with our money and spend it however which way we please. I would love nothing more than to open my wallet and support a well-run event featuring exciting matchups from top to bottom. But lately, every time I check the upcoming UFC cards, it feels like I'm looking at some regional fight night with 1 or 2 maybe high-profile fights at the very top. And if you have been a fan for a while now, then you might feel the same way as me when I say that the pivot from how they used to build cards to how they build cards now feels like a slap in the face. Dana White loves to talk about piracy being the biggest threat to the sport, but piracy is just a symptom, not the cause. The cause is Dana and the UFC's relentless greed and the refusal to put on cards with the steep prices that they charge. At the end of the day, UFC 315 is symbolic of the larger problem. Dana and the UFC brass have gotten complacent and think that the UFC brand alone will compel fans to shell out any amount of money. But the reality of the situation is that that this is simply a market correction, where the legal streaming sites recognize the wants and concerns of UFC fans better than the UFC itself does. If the UFC keeps pushing lackluster events like UFC 315 that's filled with fighters who casuals have been recognized, they're not only inviting us, but practically begging us to pirate the streams. And honestly, I'm perfectly happy to take them up on it. Anyways, that is the video for today. Definitely let me know your thoughts on the gradual deterioration of the UFC product. Are you fed up with the UFC trying to milk us like we're farm cows, or are we just being milked? If you like the video, then like the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.
The same story in the Baby Buttons. What the most funny is the title was Baby Bubbles. The place where wealthy fighters go to
Hi,
die.
everybody.
You
It's
know?
Book Shambi. Welcome to the show.
When UFC fighters go to die, you know? Go, because the black thing last week, go, right? Let's go to down. Let's go.
Y'all ain't know. I go by the name of Lupe Fiasco. Representing that first
Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us. Spring training action on MLB The Show. It's the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs. First pitch coming your way next.
True privilege. This championship camp. We walk through the process. We represent us.
So up next, Jackson Jarvis. Jarvis smashed a couple of homers in his last game. That one ripped. And out of here. A two-run shot, and they throw a pair on the board. It's 2-0.
With a low 90s fastball, you have to live on the edges and hit your spots. If you don't, you'll get hit hard. Really good swing there. Patient, waited for it. It was like BP all over again.
And the first pitch is drilled in the air out to center. And there are two down. 2 outs and 1 in scoring position. Jarvis, he gets the intentional walk here, and now a force at any base with 2 gone.
The batter, the third baseman, David
Jackson Jarvis will hit next. He's already homered in this game.
Jarvis.
It really feels like intentional walk here with 2 out. They set up a force at any base to end the inning.
Up next for the Dodgers, the third baseman.
Jarvis had a great showing in the win. Only 1 hit, a home run.
Such a tremendous effort at the
EA Sports. It's in the game.
All right, guys. So that's made for me. Quebec colors on the outside. And look at this. I'm going to be having Canada on my back, guys. Be carrying the team. No pressure. And it's cool. They bring the all the seats. It's like, so there's some 16, there's some 16, 16. One, yeah, that's a trust them.
That's not what the UFC. It's the whole thing. That's impossible.
And now our tale of the tape for this lightweight fight. Now for the official introductions, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, Benoit, God of War, and now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, Matt the Steamroller,
All right, round 1 of this stand-up only fight is underway.
For me, that's what I love most. We're a little bit black, we're back and forth. But we'll see. We'll see the violence and stuff. Maybe it's talking Kobe fights and stuff. So, appreciate you. You got a black watcher? You know. So every time you get to step in the doorway, it's amazing. It's interesting. This one, I remember watching GSP and watching everything get out one dog. The crazy fans. I just can't wait. I'm putting a show for everybody. Love to feel that before you get that energy. You know, like 2 days from now, I'll be throwing hands at the top of this. You can feel the fans, feel the breeze of screaming. Whatever we go through, that one sex and goals. Welcome to the UFC 316 press conference. The UFC returns.
Reminder of the rules set, not a whole lot of them, but you can't grapple or wrestle at all, and if the fight does hit the canvas, no follow-up strikes permitted on the ground. Strike lands cleanly there. Wow, huge head kick. Oh, another massive kick. Huge block there. All right, so about a minute into this one, and not much in terms of action, DC. I don't know if you need to use the restroom, but it might be a good time.
That thud on the table, that was me falling asleep. I'm sorry, John, I gotta wake up. Guys, get going.
Both fighters throwing heat now. Lunges forward with a left there. All right, well, he's had his striking on point tonight, and as evidence, some swelling now on his opponent.
Yeah, light swelling right now, but if he doesn't address it immediately, it'll turn to something much worse.
3 minutes to go.
Nice punch to the head.
This fight's gonna be over.
What a great way of mixing up his attack. He didn't stay the course. He mixed it up. He went high and low, and now he got him hurt very badly.
All right, so an opportunity goes by the boards. He had him stunned, nearly finished, and now his opponent has
recovered. Now he's got to deal with everything he can bring at him. He should have got the fight finished at that time.
Misses on the uppercut there. Oh, how good was that combo? He is really doing a nice job stringing his shots together now. Well, he is really seeing things well offensively here tonight, and he's caused a lot of swelling there on his opponent.
You got to address this now, because it's only going to get worse. Your opponent is not going to let you off the hook. You've got to move. You've got to change something to try to deter him from going to that spot.
Well, lands a good series of kicks there, DC. It really didn't take him long to get a good beat on his opponent.
He figured the timing, and now he's been driving.
I'm not sure his opponent knows where he is.
No, he is on Beach Street right now. He's seeing Tweety birds over the top of his head. You take a look like that, you are...
And back to his feet. Well, MMA is a constant exercise in risk mitigation, right? But it would seem to me that if he really goes for it offensively, he can get him out of there.
Well, he's got him hurt. He's got him hurt. He's got him hurt multiple times. He's in a lot of trouble now.
Oh, that's been a shot.
Oh, my God.
With a massive highlight at the Garden.
Yo, wow. That was nasty.
Here's Bruce Buffer with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 52 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Benoit God of War Saint-Denis.
And there is the man of the moment, and what a moment this must be like for a professional athlete, right? I know you enjoyed the birth of your kids, right? But you knock out a man in a cage fight, I can't think of anything better.
I mean, there's nothing like, you don't even hear the one that leg.
Enjoyed the stand-up position more than you are these past few days. It's a whole show. It's an excitement. The whole reason I wanted to be here. So every time I get a new batch of flour, it's extremely perfect. You get there's a. Yo, what up, guys? First thing I'm saying here, coming off of a big win. Let's talk about the fight, kind of how I was thinking going into the fight. The things I figured I did super nice, which is like, first round, we can super slick. A couple of things I was going to do very well. And of course, the finish on my end, and then kind of when you're striking area. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? SNS here, and welcome to another episode from Austin, Texas. Right behind me is the world's largest mobile home that is 1,200 square feet, 2 stories, $2.5 million. And it is rented by celebrities like Jennifer Lopez, Will Smith, Vin Diesel, Simon Cowell all the time. And I want to give big thanks to Anderson Mobile Estates for allowing us to put an amazing mobile home and care of all of you. And now, let's begin our tour.
All right, without further delay, let's get you tonight's tale of the tape. All right, we send it back inside the octagon. Here is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC flyweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner.
That's what we do. We show you guys everything. We show you guys the whole experience. So this thing is 2 stories, 1,200 square feet, and a real
fighting out of the red corner.
It is the biggest mobile home in the world.
UFC champion of
the second floor home was entirely glass. We have 2 slide outs on the main floor for the women level. We get a lot of volume through that. You have an extended also on here too if you want to kind of utilize that space.
One of the best flyweights in the world, Alexa Grasso, has touched down on the canvas as round 1 gets underway here. And unlike the early stages of Alexa Grasso's career, now she has any number of different methods in which she can attack you. She even talked in the fighter meeting this week about getting the grappling going early. So we understand the jab, the boxing proficiency. I think Grasso might wrestle and grapple here tonight. Oh, these are some punishing leg kicks that she's landing in the early going here. Not sure if she has hit that perennial nerve just yet, champ, but a lot of damage you can see.
She is turning her hip into the kick. She's throwing her entire body into that leg kick. She's not just throwing it as a feeler. She wants to put damage on her opponent.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Lead kick landed there by Grasso.
We can show the skill to everyone. You have 6 tires on this side, 6 tires on the other side.
That was a big jab.
Oh, she gets tagged. Nice combination.
I just love the exterior look, honestly. These windows are very sleek.
Looks as though that kick to the body got through.
It doesn't really look like RV.
Just over 3 minutes to go. Beautiful technique on the straight right hand.
Can you just imagine this thing?
Good right hand to the top. It won't take many of those. Another shot to the head.
That's one way to upset the equilibrium. Nice high kick.
Big shot lands for both guys.
You get to a certain height where you can travel across the nation with this thing.
Oh, nice jab to the head there by Grasso. And there's another combination. She's turning this into a sparring session. Just high volume, and her opponent's got to make some adjustments.
Opponent has to make adjustments, but she has to interrupt those combos. When she gets going into her combination, opponent needs to interrupt that. When she is this free-flowing, it is very difficult to deal with.
Faded total strikes have landed now for Alexa Grasso.
Absolutely. This one in particular,
changes her stance yet again.
This one was very close.
That one landed, yep.
That was just like, it's
And she did not miss there. This could be the end.
I mean, she hurt her so bad with that big head kick. I don't know how she
trailer, you need like a mini trailer. You need
landing on both sides. And the chins continue to hold up.
That way, you can literally take care of everything you need here. You can get ready in front. You can go to sleep. We have a
strong outside leg kick. So under 30 seconds to go in what has been a pretty entertaining and active first round.
I'm going to walk straight into the things are real good.
Saved by the bell. That marks the end of the round, and we'll see if she can recover from getting stung by that huge shot just before the horn. Of course, you know she's only got 60 seconds here with which to recover. They'll get her on the stool. Physically, she's compromised. Mentally, can they keep her in this one? Second round underway. She's going back to the jab.
You know, with the characters, darker tones, and speaking of characters, you have a few on each side.
Silva gets hit by that kick to the midsection. You gotta do better defensively.
Dark color, contacting the initiate for these lighter like we have on the road and the ceilings.
Nice defense by her there. She blocks the punch. Oh, she's hurt. What a shot by her there. I'm sure her opponent knows where she is. She's in the office.
She can't possibly know where she is right now. After taking some game massive.
Well, it looked like we were going to get a finish. She had her rocked pretty good, but she wasn't able to close the shot.
She wasn't able to find the kill shot. She hurt her very badly. She was not able to find that kill shot. Oh, nice kick.
Chipping game, chip a ball.
Came of inches right there, boy. Wow. It was good night if that landed. Ooh, what a head kick.
Well, she is clearly gassed out at this point of the fight. The stamina is low, and even when she misses a strike, that is an exhausting effort as well. So, not a good look for her here. Just misses there with the left.
And this is just the first look. Just insane.
Well, she has certainly picked up the pace here in round two and starting to find herself in the pocket a little bit. She was a little bit hesitant in round one. No hesitancy whatsoever here in round two. She has clearly found her rhythm and range. Silva's cut now above the eye, courtesy of that strike. We will keep an eye on it as the fight continues.
This is just amazing.
Well, they don't let you wear headgear, but she don't need it tonight, right? Beautiful job defensively.
She's doing a great job of blocking up top. Nothing of any substance has landed to this point.
Oh, she's going to keep pressing now. Back to the feet now. Lands a good combination.
She's got to keep pressing if she wants to finish the fight. Oh, big right hand.
Oh, she's hurt her here. Oh, big left hook there. Lands a nice one, too. Oh, she might be able to get her out of there now.
Nice right hand.
So how about it, folks? A huge result for her. She gets the TKO here tonight, and this is a celebration that you can be sure is going to continue deep into the night.
What is she expected? She expected to finish this fight. That's exactly what she did. The party's going to be off the hook because she has planned for it all week. What a phenomenal performance by this young lady.
The decision is inside the octagon. It resides with Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 41 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by TKO, Alexa.
Oh, you heard it there from Bruce Buffer. Buff, careful on the stairs down, man. But Alexa Grasso, your winner by TKO, and really played to her strengths well here tonight.
She did. You know, she knows that her boxing is going to be the key. So she used her boxing to hurt her opponent, and when she got the opportunity to finish, she got...
Every 4 or 5 years, we kill and grab off and we put on the new. And so we're in the process of that right now. So she looks a little... Still looks pretty very cool to me. And you told us some fun stories about the kind of the putting green or like the putting section. So can you tell us some of the stories there? It was really, really interesting. Well, it was with the pro golf for 4 years. And what he would do is he had them get, so if we were on Wednesday, we'd be at the golf course set up. He would come in and he would just entertain. And he never left the golf course. That's what he loved. No paparazzi. He just stayed right in the unit. There's been a number of times where they've had guests in there, and I'm talking the top golfers in the world, because that's a little putting green. Yeah. So they would be setting up front chipping after this hole. And there'd be hundreds of dollars on the line. You know, all these just for a quick chip, just for a quick chip. If these RVs can speak, like honestly, like Ron off camera was telling us like all these stories and which celebrity stayed in which one of these. And it's just so cool. It's like a little Hollywood history tucked into Austin, Texas. And it's like such a unique, a little bit weird combo. And you know, people like to keep Austin weird. And I feel like this with the RVs and the surroundings, it really fits that theme. It does. So we want that kind of a bed in the woods type of thing, dining room table in the woods type of thing. We want that different feel for people and being totally in the woods. I mean, where else can you go to an RV park and you got 10 acres for 10 people? Can you imagine? That's a local. What's that? They rented this and stayed in it. They produced movies. Stayed in this mobile home. It's again. I watched a video on the main channel, Will Smith's RV. You saw that it's kind of broken into different areas, like makeup, for wardrobe, for all that stuff. And then you kind of have the living space. That one is kind of dialed in more towards production and almost like an office setup. This one is more homey and kind of like RV like. Yeah. You know? Right. Second floor? Yeah. All right. Second floor. I don't know how to feel about this. We're on the second floor of a home. And this section here was originally designed for Will Smith's kids. And I'm assuming Jaden at some point just hang out here, you know, utilize the skylights and all these windows looking outside. It's just cool, man. It's super cool. Like, who has a motorhome like this where it's like, you know, this much space, your privacy, you can just take it anywhere you want. Yeah, it's crazy. And each one of these is designed a little bit differently. They don't all have to up here. Some of them have storage areas, some of them just have like an office area, straight down to the bathroom, the kitchen, or up in the attic stage, wherever they have it built out. Really cool. Yeah, for sure. Really cool TV, soundbar. Let's go this way. We have this narrow hallway, and on the left, it takes us to a house. You have another, actually, oversized vanity here with curved marble countertops, chrome fixtures, same detail is also here. Massive windows, your toilet setup, and around the corner, we have the bedroom itself. Again, look at the space. This is great. You have these windows looking outside, the views, it gets a ton of natural light. You have the bed here with a pop-up TV, side tables. I really like that wall design there. I mean, just adds up this like cabin feel. But again, this is crazy. This is a mobile home. You can sleep in it, work in it, cook in it, and you can take it all around the world. I mean, pretty awesome. So how much does this cost? $2.5 million. $2.5 million. Yeah. And then you have to have kind of like a commercial vehicle pull it, right? 18-wheeler. 18-wheeler. So it's probably another say $150,000. I would say like quarter. You gotta learn how to drive it. But if you did, this would be awesome. I'd just love to take this and park it on the cliffside somewhere. Like, imagine if we had a shoot that was in a really desolate or like a remote location. Imagine having this where you can keep running your operation, you can have your meetings, you can come up here, take a nap. I really do see the commercial utilization of it a lot. Or, I mean, it's still a massive structure, right? So as a mobile home, it just works great. Maybe this is not as versatile and like maneuverable as some of the mobile homes or like RVs that we've toured, but
terms of volume, like 1,200 square feet under one roof, and you can travel anywhere with. Pretty insane. Yeah. Pretty awesome. All right, everyone. That's it for the tour. I hope you all enjoyed it. When I looked up the most expensive and biggest mobile homes and RVs in the world, Anderson Mobile Estates was the number one in terms of the size and price point. And I'm really glad we came all the way up to Austin, Texas to tour these incredible vehicles and share it with all of you. And as always, you can find more information about them in the description of this video, so make sure to check that out. Lastly, if you enjoyed the tour, make sure to give us a like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next week.
So this is one of the only cast iron vaulted houses in all of Soho that has a swimming pool on the rooftop. It's something that every single New Yorker does when they're walking down the streets. You can't help but look and peer into the apartments of rich New Yorkers, and just for a second, imagine what it would.
First round knockout. When you get by Cody Graham recovering, he had to, but now we're back to striking, and this is where Kittle had it. It's so dangerous, right? There's no person. Potentially trying to.
We generally click on this video. Some was, huh? It's actually love when people for this exact reason. And so does that, right? They doesn't know it. So they put power into this thing. Now it is okay. Welcome to one of the most extraordinary countries in the world. Since the most expensive place listed.
Single family townhouse offers an unparalleled combination of luxury, space, and historical charm right in the heart of the city. Situated just steps from the iconic Central Park, this residence showcases a grandeur and attention to detail of both timeless elegance.
One of the standout features is its attention, limestone, floating next.
This is the Jensen Andre campus. For more information, including listing link and contact details, visit the video description.
We're starting a tour on the other side of the street. I wanted to give you guys what it looks like, and also to try and film this townhouse and the whip. For some of that design, I'm actually so excited to show you the interior design to explore in today's tour. So this impressive home behind me actually started off two townhouses, one owner together to create this monster home behind me with 19,600 square feet. Really rare in New York, especially in this area of Manhattan on the west side, right by Central Park. The location is totally iconic. Let's have a look around and see what the street looks like. A beautiful tree-lined street. This is a subtle difference from to this the townhouse. Now we're inside the townhouse. It's obviously the most beautiful facade. Everything is rebuilt from scratch. Took over 5 years. Totally absolutely amazing. This tent is the main source of fun for me. It's Paris tension, made of 40 tons of limestone, and spanned over all 8 floors of the boxes. I can't wait to show you more from different angles throughout the tour. I have hardwood flooring here, 19,600 square feet to see. Now we have the most amazing living room. Look at this thing.
Hello, I'm Seth, and I'm a gun now. 36 feet wide, 24-foot ceilings. This is definitely one of my favorite rooms. We have these gorgeous big windows with 3 tall windows at the top, bring lots of natural light in.
It's so decent too. I would say you have to move the natural light, and that's so rare. Can't wait to take you up. I'm a big fan of it's run by a company that handles all of the staging. Now we're heading over to the next part of the living area. So we've mirrored the sofas and we have this impressive wood-burning fireplace by this side.
There's actually 4 wood-burning fireplaces in the house. One more in the breakfast room and another in the principal suite.
Over the thinking of Christmas, how amazing it would be to have the tree that is giving us the this. So within this bay window, not the game set up, vintage, monopoly. Simple, this is like the best example of real life. The game for sure. This is the home office, they can get the most people. Not a big
Well, kiss my grits. We've finally made it to the armpit of Appalachia.
All that matters is that you are alive and in possession of your
We're in the centre of New York City. You've got this beautiful sun, and the beautiful feeling of right. Just somewhere to take a moment outside. The balcony of terrace is structured along here, where you've got 2 more sets of doors from the bedroom and 1 through on the other side. I said that through what's important the suites and dressing rooms. 85 million, and they expect dual en-suites. So take you first to the more masculine suite. I like all the choices in this area. Units just need to start
My physical core is located beneath Colton Hall. Find your way down to me, quickly.
I think that's kind of on the lower end because, as you've seen, or as you're about to see in the video, this is in my opinion, the pinnacle home in America.
Now, to understand how this American palace came to be, we first have to understand the history of the Vanderbilt family. American scout and hungry for business. And Cornelius Vanderbilt, a man with little education, but immense ambition. Born in 1794, came to the power of steam and steel, connecting the nation through railroads and shipping, carving his place as one of the richest men in history. When Cornelius died, his son, who he was not very fond of, William Henry Vanderbilt, took the helm and he doubled the family fortune his father built, pushing the Vanderbilts into a realm of wealth that almost seemed mythic. Then came Cornelius Vanderbilt II, the grandson and third generation Vanderbilt, who left his ego and his appetite for power unchecked, ultimately dreaming up the Breakers. Fortress on the cliffs of Newport, designed to stand as a testament to the family legacy. It was here in the halls and corridors and rooms of marble with semi-precious stones inlaid that the Vanderbilts envisioned their lasting place in history. Like all empires built on fortune, the Vanderbilt dynasty is the vast fortune that comes from fine trees and this food is the story.
Catch me up! I'm one asset you can't afford to lose.
These rocks will be slowly disappear. Kaboom! If you will, it is the
That's right. No man left behind.
The orchestra is born. Cornelius Vanderbilt II descends down this staircase.
Manipulates time as
Introduce her
well
to
as
all near-high society, lining the gallery above.
She will be the woman you knew.
This is American royalty. Let's be honest. This is what I think. There's this misconception in there.
Skip's got a lucky shot. Get me off my
In this
ass.
video, we are going to do three different tour. I think for the first time ever. Starting here in this video. This one is for instance, place in a three-story home in this very given such values in this space. Given that this is a press and it's home, this would technically be an atrium because we are in New England, but the next is a rain-swept sky painted on the ceiling here. It should
tear them to pieces.
Is it fun finding things? I think it is.
Hope you got an eyeful, because you won't be seeing that again.
Max ammo.
She was special to you. To me as well. If there is a chance this will work, how can we not try?
Your getting close. I can
I'm
sense.
down.
Not
Gonna need a
literally,
hand.
of course.
Bonus points.
Who goes there? Only kidding. Come on in. Take a load off.
Insta-kill.
Captain Revanov certainly seems revitalized.
If nothing else, that guy's a survivor. I grieve for what he went through while we were away.
You don't get rid of me that easy.
What's that? Oh yes, well done. Extra credits for you. I remember that hand.
All this talk about prima materia irks me. Alchemy is to physics as astrology is to astronomy.
I know you were told.
Double points.
This downtime, it will affect your final grade. Your efficiency has been noted.
Max ammo.
got a lucky shot. Now get me off my ass!
Max
Well done, your name. You're making their name look totally fair. It's just who is going to clear their tongue.
Dynamite! Now get out!
Stuck here. Tear them to pieces.
You don't get rid of me that easy.
Come on! Reboot yourself! Oh, whatever did you do?
Careless. Mistake I won't repeat. Molotov going out. Max ammo.
Patch me up. I'm one asset you can't afford to lose.
Full power. Kaboom!
to die first.
What's this? Another roadblock for our intrepid imbeciles? It's a wonder you've made it this far.
I'm down. Gonna need a hand.
Max ammo. Don't take my kills.
The weapon you now hold was recovered from the Dark Ether. Rick Hoppin dispatched a team to research its origin. They never returned.
Bonus points. Their loss, your gain. Yada, yada, yada. Bonus points.
Do you need me to call you an ambulance? You're an ambulance.
I owe you. Insta-kill.
Containment tank, not as
such. A marked variant canister. The project manager was quite annoying. He told me they planned for it, but I deleted the conversation. Sorry. See? This is what happens if you don't bring spare parts.
Contracts waiting.
gonna let them see you like that? I didn't think so.
Time for some fancy fingers. That came out wrong. Very wrong.
Even the elements obey me.
Stiff's got a lucky shot. Now get me off my ass.
Be pretty embarrassing to be you right now.
Double points.
I'm no expert, but that looks looks like a design flaw.
I owe you. Fall before me.
Bloody hell!
Stay back. Nigga, pull your face right off.
asset you can't afford to lose.
Casimir going out.
Oh look, the charge is gone. Charge is faster next time.
Silent worm.
I'm down. Gonna need a hand. don't get rid of me that easy.
Toy with me, Box. Give me the ray gun. Even the elements obey me.
Stiff's got a lucky shot. Now get me off my ass. Better be something worthy of my skill. Down. Gonna need a hand.
this what you want? That is what I will give you.
Asset you can't afford to lose.
Double points.
You don't get rid of me that easy.